lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
After an unbelievable race at Michigan 2 weeks ago, we come from one of the bigger racetracks on the NASCAR circuit to one of the shortest, Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia, for round number 5 of the Svenska eRacinligan Cup Series, the Racing Couple 250 at Martinsville Speedway. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. As always, my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso. Tony, it's quite a big difference from the big track, the big wide track at Michigan, to coming here to the short, narrow confines of Martinsville. But I think this series is probably one of the more better suited series for this racetrack as compared to some others.
It absolutely is, because, you know, a lot of these guys have a good road racing background. This track races more like a road course than any other oval in the iRacing servers, for that matter, any other oval in the country, if not the world. But, you know, you mentioned that there's a vast dichotomy between last week's track and this week's track. Wide Michigan, wide open. You can find places to take evasive action if you need to. Here, coming down the front stretch and back stretch hallways, you've got nowhere to hide. So if something pops off in front of you, as we're watching coming off of turn 4 there, nobody survived.
Yeah, you could see how very close this goes even from as far up as we are right now. Looking at the point standings right now, Jesper Eriksson has a very comfortable lead, 36 points, at least going into this race. Is a very comfortable points lead over Michael Haflidason, Jonas Gunnarsson there as well. Daniel Sollo, the winner 2 weeks ago at Michigan, currently sitting in the 4th spot. Linus Broström in the top 5 as well. Only Jonas Gunnarsson right now, of the drivers in the top 5 in points, the only one to have not won a race yet this season.
And it's kind of surprising because, Gunners, he's normally up there. The fact that he hasn't gotten that breakthrough win yet, it's very surprising. But we did receive word from league management earlier today. Jonas Skoglund has 84 career iRacing oval track starts, official oval track starts. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, Linus Broström has 86 wins at Martinsville.
That is quite an impressive record and shows just how good some drivers are, being able to move over from the roadside onto the oval side. Looking at the team championship here really quick before we flip on over into the qualifying session. Alcantech by Neiman Racing with a very solid lead, 386 points to the 4Z Sports Academy's 332. And that's as to be expected with how good we've seen this Alcantech team be all season, especially 2 weeks ago at Michigan, where most, if not all, of their drivers were up in the top 10 at most of the race.
Yeah, and, at Michigan, that was definitely going to be more of a team-oriented run because the draft plays such a big role there. Whereas here, you make friends where and when you can. And it's so easy to get held up in traffic here that they're going to have to work together. They're going to have to communicate throughout the team and make sure that, okay, I'm coming up on you, but so-and-so's in front of me. If you could block them, I can use them as a pick. Something along those lines is probably what we're going to end up seeing tonight. More guys trying to hold up the faster cars than just trying to work with their own team.
We're jumping into the qualifying session here in just a moment. There you see Alexander Arildsson in that number 24 on track right now, a number and font that is very, very familiar with Victory Lane around this racetrack. Jumping into the qualifying session now, you can see how much darker it is getting around this racetrack as this series will be testing out the brand new lighting system here at Martinsville.
Well, those lights are already on. We just don't see the big shadows that we're going to see later on. But a handful of drivers already out on track. Emily Fagrell, Jonas Fors. Do need to give Emily a thank you because Emily and her fiance Linus Broström are putting up the purse for tonight's race.
They are the series sponsors as well. The Racing Couple, that is their Instagram page. Be sure to go ahead over there and follow them as well. As we see Pontus Nilsson, and that's something we're going to be seeing a lot out of Pontus Nilsson, out of all of these drivers tonight, locking up that left front tire and sliding it through to the outside.
It's something you're going to have to mitigate doing here tonight, but you can see already just on second lap just how much those brake rotors are glowing because you're going to use up your rotors and pads here at the paperclip. And you can see just how much more rear. Wow, Arildsson just looped it coming off of 4.
Yep, there he is. Out of turn 4, Robert Eriksson stopping after 1 lap. Robert Erling in the 82 completing his second lap, and Erling will go up to P12. Stefan Wong in the 85 now will be one of the next to cross the line. And Wong will go from 22nd position up to 20th on his second lap. Kenneth Tier about halfway through his second lap now. Keeping it nice and tidy on the bottom, exactly what you're going to need to do all night long here tonight. Tier 16th on his first lap, and second lap is not going to get him much better. Here's Jonas Gunnarsson, the aforementioned only driver in the top 5 in points that has not gotten a win yet. Gunnarsson was third. He'll now start on the outside of the front row.
I see Jakob Larson is joining us tonight here at Martinsville. I'm just wondering if he's going to do anything similar to what his namesake did this past Sunday at Homestead, Miami.
Tony Oivonen spinning out of turn 4 on his second lap, so that will negate that. Here's the fastest man in practice so far, Linus Broström. 6th on his first lap. Solid run for that 71 so far, looking very composed.
A little twitchy coming off a 2 that last time by, but gets it pointed straight very quickly. Good run so far for Broström. And that is going to 6 quick.
May have caught the wall there on that second lap because I didn't see a time switch at all.
He caught it after the start-finish line.
So 6th quickest is Daniel Sollo, winner from 2 weeks ago. Hyoko Ware, by the way, or Hyoko Wet, pardon me, in the 101, did attempt a qualifying run. Unsuccessful on both laps, so he will start from the 39th position. Daniel Sollo, the last one to have not attempted a qualifying time. First lap for Sollo will be good enough to put him in the 32nd position. I'm not sure this one's going to be much better.
No, he's just trying to put a safety lap in. We did receive word after...
Oh, big wiggling around he goes.
Oh, there you go. Get the backup car out. But we did receive word after Michigan that moving forward for the rest of the season, they will be actually running the consolation race
regardless
prior to the A feature.
Yep. So we have 40 drivers here, so it'll be 20 drivers running in that race. Eric Lundberg will start on pole for the sprint race here. And while we have a second here, while nothing's really going on, I'm going to black out the screen here for just a moment so I can make one quick adjustment. There we go. As we will now take a look at the grid here for this sprint race. Eric Lundberg and Tony Oivonen will make up row number 1. Bjorn Broström and Marcus Stromberg will make up row 2. Stefan Wong and Connie Lundell will sit in row 3. Row 4 goes to Martin Godolakis and Bat Ganbat. Row 5 will see Jacob Larson and Martin Liesnik. That will be the first half of this sprint race, Tony.
Emily Fergrell and Dan Sollo are going to roll it off in row number 6. Row 7 is going to go to Marcus Stiller and Haflidason. Sorry about that. Jonas Fors and Robert Lundgren are going to start in row number 8, with row 9 going to Pontius Nielsen and Dan Blomqvist. Row number 10 is going to give us Jonas Skoglund and Hyoko Wet, as that is going to make up the 20-car starting grid for the heat race to determine the 21st through 40th starting spots.
So again, these guys are racing not just for a little bit of points here, but they are also racing for where they will start beyond the 21st position. As just waiting now on the final cars to grid up here. I believe all of them have gridded up as to
We have all 20, yes.
Yep, so as to why we're not rolling is quite a mystery. There we go.
Apparently, the driver of the Chevy Silverado pace truck, the official pace truck of iRacing, forgot how to put the truck in gear.
He wasn't loaded into the session, unfortunately.
Nobody's loaded behind the wheel.
Weather conditions.
Oh, shots fired.
Weather conditions for the sprint race here really quick. Just past a quarter after 8 p.m. in sim time. 5K winds. 18-degree ambient temperature. 19-degree track temperature here for the sprint race tonight.
And for those of you who use Freedom units, that's 2 bald eagles of wind speed, 65 bald eagles of ambient air temperature, and 67 bald eagles of track temperature.
There you go. So, Tony, this is, I think this is going to be the test as to what we're going to see here later tonight. We are going to have a full NASCAR field for a race at Martinsville. It'll be quite entertaining here tonight. We'll see the sprint race here, see how it goes.
And Linus was asking for the exacta numbers tonight. So if you're watching in the live chat, let us know how many times you think we're going to see that dreaded yellow flag tonight. The exacta wins a prize, as per Linus Broström.
Coming off of turn 4, here we go. We have 10 laps to see a winner here in this sprint race. Eric Lundberg finds his way through, at least early.
Bjorn Broström in third, already under heavy pressure from Stefan Wang, as There's
big 3 wide there as the 013 of Marcus Stiller made that move work. Oh, and around, that's a sliding Connie Lundell.
Lundgren involved in that one too, but everybody gets him pointed back in the right direction.
Jacob Larson in it too. Off the racetrack, so we stay green. 41 of Bjorn Broström trying to put the block on Martin Godolakis in the 76. Jacob Larson around again, and that will be the first caution of the night.
That is Jacob Larson in the 59, pointing the wrong way on a one-way street, just parked inside the Geico restart zone coming off of 4.
See what happened to Larson here. On board with Larson. This is him and Lundell trying to get back going after the original incident. Clips the curb and up and around he goes. Now this is the... Well, Jonas Forss also getting a little piece of it too. This is Lundell and Larson. This is them coming out of turn 2 earlier in the lap. There's the contact between those two. Sliding off into the pit entry.
Yeah, that could have ended a lot more poorly than it did. In the first time that they got together. But yeah, Larson not having a good time of it here tonight in the relatively cool conditions for Martinsville. Frank, I dare say this is the first time you and I have broadcasted a race here together that we've had track temperatures this cool.
I think this is the first time we've broadcasted a race here together at night. I honestly can't remember.
You're right. The last time we did it, it was a day race.
I do remember.
You're absolutely right.
I've done one here at night. That was for the old Throwback series when I first came on board. That
no,
was
we did
race.
We did a race here.
You weren't a part of that one. That one was just me.
No, but you and I did a day race. It was part of the yeah, it was the USRA Truck Series. It was the last time you and I were here, and it was a day race. So caution number 1 out. And there's only a handful of takers bringing them down pit side. A couple things to be noteful of tonight. 85% fuel fill 5 total sets of tires to get it done with here at Martinsville, which means the set that they qualified on is the set they also had to start the race on. And then they are laying 4 extra in the pits. Incident penalty count after 17, you have to do a pass-through penalty. And you have a disqualification limit of 25x. So a lot of these guys beating and banging are going to have to be careful.
So that will certainly come into effect as this night goes on, as we're going to have a 2-lap shootout here to determine who will be the winner of this sprint race here. As Tony Oivonen and Eric Lundberg will start on the front row. Oivonen on the outside, Lundberg on the inside. Coming out of turn number 4, straightening out, green flag back in the air. Another very good start from Lundberg, stretching that front row out.
Here comes the 85 of Wong to the inside of Oivonen. Contact in the back. Those 2 superior cars getting into each other.
It's the 45 of Ganbat and Stiller. And that will be another caution.
They're going to win 3 shots at a green-white checkered in this heat race.
See how that happened. It looked as though Ganbat had just pushed up. Coming out of turn 1. Let's see here. It's Ganbat. Oh, that's Ganbat on the outside. Oh, he was trying to make a move on the 41. Jezdich, unfortunately, an unfortunate bystander there. Take a look again here. Sees the 41 move up, tries to stick the nose in there. I'm sure he didn't realize his team superior teammate was still there. And that's how that goes, unfortunately.
Well, the other thing you got to remember too, Frank, as soon as the green flag comes out, the in-sim spotter, the computer spotter that most of these guys are using, it doesn't say a word until you get out of turn number 2.
That's why a lot of people,
yeah,
a lot of people go with the crew chief app for one. So we are working on our second caution of the sprint race here. Eric Lundberg still out in front, started on pole. Tony Oivonen almost lost that spot to Stefan Wang prior to the caution having come out. And again, as Tony had mentioned, we are getting 3 attempts here to go on this green-white checkered here during the sprint.
Lundberg, Oivonen, Wong, Godalakis, Broström, your top 5. That's Bjorn Broström, father of the series sponsor Linus. Jonas Fors, Pontius Nielsen, Martin Lejesnek, Heflidi Johansson, and Amelie Fagerl rounding out your top 10. So your biggest mover is Pontius Nielsen, currently sitting plus 10. Jonas Fors plus 9.
See Lundberg lining up on that inside again. Also worth noting that there will be a restart rule here tonight. And we'll get you that rule during the warm-up session, which will come after this. Lundberg straightens out, coming off of turn 4. Green flag back in the air, racing again. Attempt 1 of a green-white checkered. Oivonen a lot better a start in that 84 this time around.
Everybody gets single filed out pretty quick here as coming through 3 and 4. White flag is in the air. Can they get there? We are racing back to checkers.
I think that was the checkers.
That was the checkers.
Yep. So that is it. Eric Lundberg gets the one-lap sprint win. And will retain his P21 starting spot for the race.
Well, Frank, while we're waiting for these guys to go down pit road, what do you say we step away and pay a couple of bills?
I think that would be a good idea. Actually, you know, if you need to do something, that's fine. I'll stick with this. We are in a 1-minute warm-up session here right now, and this warm-up session is solely for these guys to be able to go around the racetrack once, spot their pit box, because this is a very unique pit lane around here, more unique than anywhere else this series will go or has gone so far. So they are given a minute here to get out on track, come down pit road, spot where their pit box is, and try and attempt to get into their pit box so they can kind of gauge where they need to be and what marks they need to hit during their race. So this warm-up session is now over. And
as you do.
Yep, and with that, a minute goes by quick. With that, we will now go to the grid for the official start of this race. So Alexander Arildsson with a time of 19.238 will start on the pole, with Jonas Gunnarsson lining up next to him in row number 1. Oscar Fredriksson and Michael Haflidason will make up row number 2. Jesper Eriksson and Linus Broström will sit beside each other in row 3. Anton Ehrman and Daniel Holmer in row 4. Robert Eriksson and Peter Helmbro will make up row number 5. Johan Larsson and Kim Nyholm will make up row 6. Andre Solander and Anton Bratberg in row 7. Philip Carlin and Robert Erling in row 8. Row 9 goes to Eric Blixt and Kenneth Tier. Row 10 going to Christopher Girios and Dennis Scherp.
Row number 11 is going to see Eric Lundberg and Tony Oivonen, as Stefan Wong and Martin Godolakis going to roll off in row number 12. Row 13 going to give us Jonas Fors and Martin Lejesnik. Bjorn Broström and Pontius Nielsen in row number 14. Row 15 is going to go to Amelie Fagrell and Haflida Johansson. Robert Lundgren and Marcus Stiller in row number 16. Row 17 is going to go Dan Sollo and Connie Lundell. Row number 18 sees Marcus Stromberg and Jakob Larsson, with Dan Bloomquist and Jonas Skoglund in row number 19, and row 20 going to Jochen Wett and Bat Ganbat. So 40 cars scheduled to roll it here tonight. 85% fuel fill. 5 sets of tires to get it done, as the lights have just gone out on the Chevy Silverado pace truck, Frank.
Conditions again just past 8:30 p.m. in sim time, April 24th. Same wind, same ambient temperature, same track temperature as just about 15 minutes prior. As Tony, we have a long night of racing ahead. Stage break will be at lap 90. It's certainly going to be a fun night.
Absolutely. As the pace truck peels on off, Arildsson has the button. The only thing it's left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab a hot dog, because it's time to get it on in Martinsville. Race fans, it's showtime!
Long night for some of these guys set to come, as Alexander Arildsson trying to end it as quickly as he possibly can. Anton Ehrman battling side by side with Linus Broström, and around goes the 42 of Ehrman. Caution is out. Quick little 360 spin, and there's another big incident towards the back here. Wow, that's a big pile up in turn 3.
Jonas Skoglund, and Helken wet.
Godolakis backwards. It's Kim Nyholm in the 58 backwards. Liesnik backwards as well. We've had a couple of incidents here. First, the one that brought out the caution. The spin here that brought out the caution. Let's, boy, oh boy, let's having an issue with SDK trying to catch up here. So Anton Ehrman on the inside of Linus Broström. We had just switched on to him right about here. So Ehrman coming through turn 4, gets a little bit too uppity with the throttle early. And then just behind, as this was happening, here is what happened with Kim Nyholm and the rest of that group that was piled up in turn 3. 22 goes for a dive. Boy, and some of the guys, ooh, that's the 82 upside down, hit hard a couple of times. 82 of Robert Erling.
Erling catching a piece of it, Golodakis catching a piece of it, the 19, unfortunately, of Nilsson caught a piece of it. And everybody else kind of stacks up behind him.
It's on board of Robert Erling. See, the incident happened, tries to go to the outside to avoid it. And then that flip right there, that's from the 19 getting into it. A couple of guys there, Connie Lundell being one of them, finding a very cheeky little hole to get through. As we are under our first caution of the night. Now, I had mentioned during the sprint race that there is a caution rule tonight, and that caution rule is one that the series has and has had since the beginning of the season. If there is a caution within the first 2 laps of a green flag coming out on back-to-back restarts, then the race will restart. From every restart beyond that will be done single file until they can get 2 laps of green flag racing completed. So again, to clear it up a little bit, if this restart produces a caution within the first 2 laps of green flag racing, every restart beyond this one will be single file until they can get 2 laps of green flag racing in.
Makes sense, as the pace car is in, as we get ready to turn them back loose here, working lap 6 tonight. Arildsson has the button from the low lane into the Geico restart zone, pulls the trigger, and we are back underway.
Very solid start there for Arildsson. Jesper Eriksson trying to slide over and hold Michael Haflidason at bay. He does that. Linus Broström to the outside of Haflidason. Big lockup there for the 81, but able to make it stick. Still a battle for 5th. No longer Linus Broström into the top 5.
Biggest battles are going on just outside the top 10, as the 77 of Peter Holmberg going after Anton Bratberg, and they are beating and banging on each other. I don't think these guys actually realize that there's a 25 incident disqualification limit here tonight, Frank.
Yeah, that will come into play, I'm sure, for a couple of guys towards the end of the night. Christopher Girios on the outside line, not necessarily the preferred line around here, but if you can make up some moves, as that was Kenneth Tier sliding off coming out of turn number 2, riding along the inside wall, and Kenneth Tier will take the safe route down to pit road.
Oh, he's got Bluetooth suspension on that car because the left side is not attached any longer.
No change in the top 5. Linus Broström has gotten around Oscar Fredriksson. I'll take that back. So Broström on his way forward. Andre Solander on his way forward as well in the 140. Marcus Stiller in the 013 right now, your biggest mover of the race thus far, plus 8 positions, pardon me. A lot of that having to do with the incident happened in front of him. Tony Oivonen looking to the outside of his team superior teammate Robert Lundgren.
Lundgren trying to make some headway right now, but not really, and I'm on the wrong car. Helps if I'm looking at the right battle, doesn't it?
We're on board of Oivonen, and there's somebody slow. That's the 48 of Dennis Schrepp. That was slow on the outside. Still looks like that right front was attached for Schrepp. However, he does have damage on that right front corner.
Does have the body damage. As a matter of fact, he's got damage on both sides of the front nose piece there. But those Team Superior cars kind of ganging up right now as the 84 of Oivonen, odd man out currently.
A little bit more forward, Linus Broström has gotten around Jesper Eriksson.
And you can see, Frank, just as the lights start to really show themselves here at Martinsville, just how bright those rear brake rotors are glowing. So these guys can try to get that car to initiate that rotation, because I'm sure, as you can attest to, because you've driven this car quite a bit, this car does not like to start turning.
No, it certainly does not, and this is another characteristic of Martinsville, as we are already up to the back of the field. There is the 52 of Haflidason Johansson going a lap down as the caution comes out. Right in front of the leaders. Tony said Tony Oivonen, so let's take a look and see what happened with Oivonen there. Again, this one happening just in front of the leaders in turn 2. It's Oivonen on the outside of Lundgren in the 20. Lundgren a little bit too late on the brakes. Jonas Skoglund going around in that. Daniel Sollo also broadsiding the 84.
I mean, everybody was on the binders. They just couldn't get these 3,700-pound cars slowed in time.
Skoglund looked as though he was going to be clear, but got cut off by Connie Lundell, who was trying to avoid the incident as well. It's amazing how quickly all of this just turns into a parking lot. Now, clearly made it beyond 2 laps of green flag racing there. So this will be a double file restart. As Robert Erling done for the day so far. Kenneth Tier, Daniel Sollo on pit road. We saw the hit that Daniel Sollo took. So it's looking like it is not going to be a repeat race win for the 13. There's Tony Oivonen going down pit road. And also we saw Daniel Sollo, you see on the back bumper there, that please no Punterino, that the famous Jimmy Broadbent saying, which, by the way, congratulations to Jimmy. I know he'll probably never see this. But a Praga Brit Car champion now, just his 2nd season.
Nice.
Brit Car in the Praga. So a sim racing pleb turned Brit Car champion.
And anybody that's seen him or driven with him in the sim knows that it was only a matter of time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to everybody in the chat, whether it be on the YouTube side or whether it be on the Twitch side. Svenska eRacing on Twitch. Hello to everyone joining us here for tonight's round 5 action here from Martinsville.
Currently working our 2nd caution. as we are on lap 21 of 250 here from the paperclip. Let us know who you're pulling for tonight. We'll try to highlight your favorite driver throughout the race if we get a chance to. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications. This is only the first of 4 races tonight, Frank.
First of 3, no?
First of 3, you're right.
So it'll be, this race, the first of 3. Then it will be Fuel a little bit later on tonight. And then Sim Racer's Edge will be back running tonight. As we are about to get back and running here, green flag conditions. Alexander Arildsson, a great jump for him. Opens the door for Linus Broström to get to the inside of Jonas Gunnarsson, but Gunnarsson really threw it into turn 1. Will maintain the spot, but for how long?
You got to wonder if Linus Broström's nose is hurting by how hard that door got slammed in his face. But Eriksson and Fredriksson, the 2 teammates for Forza Esports, trying to make some headway right now, as it looked like Dan Homer may have gotten into the wall.
Daniel Homer, no, he's been fine just on that
No,
outside.
that wasn't Homer.
Very
that
close.
was Haflidason that got into the wall. I'm sorry.
Haflidason to the inside of that 79 of Homer.
Okay, yeah, well, it was Homer. He brushed the wall coming off the 4 a lap ago.
Let's just see how twitchy these cars are coming out of the corners. Not settled down at all. Here are a couple of guys that have been used to running up front. Anton Ehrmann, we saw him. Oh, Stefan Wang around.
There it goes.
That's a hard hit for Wang, and everyone now towards the back. Pontus Nielsen backwards. Stefan Wang backwards.
Carlin catching it.
So that will be caution number 3. I'd say Stefan Wang was battling for a sprint race win earlier on. Chucks it to the outside of Peter Helmbro and lost it on his own coming out of turn 4.
There's not a lot of rubber laid down on that concrete patch in the second lane yet. And that's really what caught him out there, is trying to lay the power down like he could on the low side where they've been laying the rubber down. And unfortunately, it did not work out for him the way he wanted it to.
He's on board with Pontus Nielsen. 18 of Eric Lundberg is the one that really sent him around, and Nielsen was just trying to avoid the incident before the 20 of Lundgren spun him around. He was well off the gas. So under caution for the 3rd time tonight here at Martinsville, lap 28 of 250. Now the stage break for tonight will be at the completion of lap 90.
Correct.
So we know there will be 1 caution and 1 field reset at the end of lap 90.
And any caution prior to that, after lap 85 and prior to 90, that will be the stage.
Macus74 in the Twitch chat, rooting for all of the Forza Esports drivers. Seeing a lot of Fredriksson in the chat as well on the Twitch side. So again, we appreciate all of you taking time out of your morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you may be, to come and hang out and watch some racing with us.
Absolutely. Always fun to have the fans interacting in the live chat.
It does make it quite nice. If you get a chance, Tony, I know you're doing the Clean
Yes, sir.
.net Truck Series at the same time, but that you got to take a look at the live chat for the SCL International Series on Monday nights. Those are incredible.
Oh, I have. Yeah, no, it's
So
simply
much fun.
amazing. And you take a look at the interaction that Dave and I get on Tuesdays from the Extreme Scoring Cup Series, presented by Rick Matak. That crew over there, they're wild.
I remember.
So, and then of course our Friday night group that has been with us for the last, was it 4 seasons now, 4 years now, for the iRacing E Super Speedway Series.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I got a chance to meet Jason Papp's mom, Miss Vicky Copeland, this weekend.
Very nice.
Absolutely. I mean, she's a sweetheart of a lady, and
I'm sure now she hates all of us.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Greg and I talked to her for a little bit during the Cup race. But Pace Truck is in. We're getting ready to turn them back loose.
Here we go. Alexander Arildsson once again. And boy, Gunnarsson really threw the block on Broström there going into turn 1.
He almost just ate a chrome horn.
At least Gunnarsson gave Broström the thought of going to the inside in turn 1 the last restart. He didn't even give him that this time, as Andre Solander way outside in the 140. Dropping almost out of the top 10, down to 9th.
Yeah, he had a big
just
moment.
Heard somebody around.
Uh-oh.
It's the 20 of Carlin. Oh, the 22 of Carlin, pardon me.
Oman catching a piece of that one, too.
Yep. And so that will be caution number 1 on that. We'll refer to it as Rule 1.4 here tonight, because that's what it is in the rule book, the restart rule.
Just call it the Sunday night rule. I really don't know what you mean.
Let's see, there is the 22 of Carlin. That's Helmbro. Lundberg is the one that sent him around. And unfortunately for Anton Ehrman, had nowhere to go.
Well, if you can't run into your teammate, who can you run into?
It's a little bit easier to. It's easier a pill to swallow when they're already sideways.
Yeah, it is.
At least you didn't cause them to be like that. So could we see our first? Never mind. Could we see our first look to the pits for our leaders? Not putting too much stress on these tires. Again, as Tony mentioned during pre-race, only 5 sets of tires. The set that started on the car plus 4. Is it Jonas Skoglund getting a lap back, the lucky dog?
You lucky dog.
The pit entry and exit around here also very unique. Now the bright yellow line that you're going to see on pit entry is not the commitment line. The white line inside of the curbing with the cone next to it, that is the pit line. Now there's another white line on the back straightaway down by the bottom. In real life, that would be the pit commitment line. If you cross that line, you are committing to going to the pits before the actual commitment cone. So I will jump on board with Arildsson here to scope out those lines for you. On board with Arildsson. See, look to the left here. That white line there, right where the light tower is for the pit open and close, that is the pit commit line. In real life, the commitment cone would be at that yellow line on pit entry with the
right at the end of the water barrels.
Yeah, with where the orange box is, and the white line inside of the curbing on pit road, that is where pit entry officially is for iRacing. Now,
hey, look, we're going single file.
Oh, we are going single file for this restart then. So these guys should be lining up on the outside. There they are. Only place you can pass on a single file restart is to the right. So these guys will be huddled up by the wall to make sure no one can get that jump. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing again here at Martinsville.
it's mildly concerning that everybody just put their tires through the marbles that are up on that outside lane.
That as well. But what was anticipated by this rule coming into fruition as the 81
You spoke too
of
soon.
Michael Haflidason around. Well, what I was going to say was it got everybody single file going into turn 1. I didn't specify coming out of turn 2, however. As that's Michael Haflidason trying to get his car righted again. That is the a big block there by Fredriksson, and I think the 81 just made too strong a move to get to the outside going into the braking zone. This is not a GT car, unfortunately.
Well, Fredriksson, coming off of 2, Haflidason had the run, and Fredriksson blocked the inside going into 3. And when Haflidason tried to make him commit either way, he just yanked the wheel too quickly.
Yeah, now what we were showing in that replay there as we were looking back at Haflidason was exactly that, how quick he slung the wheel back to the right to try to get around. As we'll see here, riding on board with, the other way, riding on board with Haflidason. Fredriksson throws the block, tries to swing back to the outside. And I mentioned that this is not a GT car for that reason. A GT car would have been fine with that move, but these big lumbering stock cars that have a lot of weight to roll over are not okay with a quick move like that.
Well, I mean, you figure the car weighs another 400 kilos more than a GT car, and the center of gravity is about a third of a meter higher than in a GT car.
Connie Lundell, the free pass recipient there. So Alexander Arildsson, your race leader here for the moment. And with that, we see the Mabby sponsor on the car. Let's hear a quick word from Mabby.
Behöver du en bil? Mabby hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabby hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Why, what did he...
Back here at Michigan, back here at Martinsville, pardon me.
Michigan was last week.
Yep, Michigan was 2 weeks ago. As we are getting set to go back to green flag racing again, we will stay with single file restarts until we can get a couple of laps linked together here under green flag conditions. Green flag is in the air. We are rolling again here at Martinsville.
And we are at the halfway mark of stage number 1. Arildsson, Gunnarsson, Broström, Eriksson, Fredriksson, your top 5 as they currently sit.
Eric Blix looking to the inside of the 111 of Anton Bradberg. And Blix will take the spot. Blix missed the first couple of races of the season, but has come on very strong since making his season debut at Sonoma a month ago.
Those 2 Alcantech cars running stem to stern right now with Salander and Blix up there, both in the top 10 right now. And everybody seems to have calmed down a little bit, Frank.
Yeah, that's part of the reason for this single file start rule, is so everyone can kind of spread out a little bit and not immediately be in each other's way. Side by side there, Johan Larsson as the caution comes out.
Robert Lundgren looks like he... Ooh.
There's that Team Superior number 20 machine. is Lundgren. Bringing out caution number 6 here of the night. Oh. Try to see if we can get look here and see. There he is. Oh, just
caught the curb.
He realized he was going to go around, locked it down to keep it straight, and whoever that was behind him.
That would have been
I think possibly Ganbat possibly is.
Yeah, yes.
Did
No.
not.
It was Jakob Larsson in the 59.
Did not anticipate the big lockup. So Alexander Arildsson, Jonas Gunnarsson remain 1 and 2. Linus Broström, Jesper Eriksson, Oscar Fredriksson, your top 5. And by the way, to finish that little note on how Blixt has started his season, started 3rd, finished 4th at Sonoma, started 13th, finished 4th at Michigan. So 2 top 5 finishes for that 95 since debuting a month ago at Sonoma. Michael Haflidason getting his lap back.
And the other thing I'd like to point out, Frank, is they had just done the switch over, Race Control did, to change the restarts to double file. Not even 30 seconds later, the caution flies.
Well, as you do. Speaking of that, 81 of Michael Haflidason was up towards the front, running in the top 5. Was that 81. He has also had a very solid start to this season. After the first couple of races, finished 14th at Daytona, 16th at Kansas. But he has been on a very good streak here as of late. The winner of that race at Sonoma finished 5th at Michigan. Did Haflidason in that 81.
Needed a big turnaround after what happened at Daytona.
Absolutely. There was a lot of, still one of the more memorable final laps here at Daytona. Cars are double filed up, should be ready to go. Green flag racing this time by. We are. One good thing about all these cautions, though, is it keeps more drivers in the race. Right now, the 19 of Pontus Nilsson would be getting the lucky dog. Currently running in 33rd. First car 1 lap down.
And only 2 retirements to speak of, and one of them was due to a packet loss.
Kim Nyholm was the packet loss. Robert Erling, the retiree. We saw him flipping in turn 3 earlier on. As green flag coming back out, lap 53, Alexander Arildsson getting away well. This time, Linus Broström is not going to give Gunnarsson the option to close the door going into turn 1. Good start for Broström, up to 2nd.
The Volvo back into 3rd as he's now falling back into the clutches of Jesper Eriksson, and we've got another caution out. Looks like
Godolakis.
Yep.
76. There he is in turn 3 and 4.
As he's still trying to get that car straight, and now he's hung up on the curb.
Yep, he's high-centered it. With the addition of that rear splitter, with that rear diffuser, pardon me, he has high-centered that car. There you go. Reverse it. There you go. Now get it out of there. Good job. Unfortunately, he has already lost the lap.
Yeah, that kind of... Oh.
See what happened here with Godolakis. It's Liesnich in the 016 under him. Liesnich way too hot into turn 3. Allowed the car
Well,
roll.
being as both of our hockey teams are doing quite well this season, Frank, it's 2 minutes boarding.
Yeah. would say so. Godolakis, I think, is just going to pull off and stop here. Yep, there he goes. He'll take the tow into pit road. As we take a look really quick high above and just show how long the queue is around here. There is the leaders going down the back straightaway right now. And going through 3 and 4, that is the back of the field. It is a very long queue around this racetrack.
Yeah, but that's not the biggest field that we've ever seen here at Martinsville.
Biggest one I've ever seen.
There were some times back in the 80s, before the big grandstands got built, that for some of the regional races, the super late models and the at the time Budweiser modifieds, they would start a 54-car Consi race.
Jeebus.
And that's just the B main. Yeah, go with that thought.
I remember hearing a story about the old Islip Speedway on Long Island before it got turned into a cookie factory. That drivers at the back of the field would only know that the race had gone green because they would see the leaders coming up in their rearview mirrors.
Yep.
That's how small some of these tracks that NASCAR used to run on are.
Well, that's how it used to be. That's how it used to be up here, up at Adirondack Speedway. They used to have a thing that they called the Hangover 100, where it was a 100-lap enduro race, no cautions, no nothing, held on New Year's Day.
There you go. Bringing the new year right.
In the snow and ice.
Bringing the new year right.
Absolutely.
Alexander Arildsson coming out of turn 4 now. Green flag is out. We are off and running yet again here at Martinsville. Great start for Jonas Gunnarsson there, getting back up into his second spot.
Looking to bring Fredriksson with him is now Broström slams the door on Fredriksson. Fredriksson's got to be careful about Eriksson behind him. And we all know that Dan Homer hates to follow anybody.
Eric Blixt getting by Robert Eriksson in the 35. As Gunnarsson still has very close tabs being kept on him by that 71. Jonas Forss getting around Eric Lundberg in the 18. And the caution comes out again. Anton Ehrman, this would appear to be.
Yes, sir.
Whatever happened, he's gotten it straight. You can see the sparks coming out from under the left front of that Team Superior number 42.
Yeah, that suspension is now Bluetooth.
See what happened with him. It looks as though Robert Lundgren may have been the start of this, the 20. There is Lundgren with Ehrman in front and locked it up big time. They were 4 wide going into turn 3 there. Emily Fagrell getting a part of it as well.
Good grief.
She was just barely, though, was able to keep it from going high center.
But yeah, it was the second shot that the 42 took when he went left front into the inside rub rail. That's what disconnected that left front suspension arm, and they're not supposed to work that way.
Yeah, no, typically not. What we'll do really quick is we will take a quick break. We'll be right back. You are watching the Racing Couple 250 here from Martinsville Speedway. We'll be back right after this.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig. Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Back here at Martinsville Speedway, about to go back to green flag racing here. Lap 68 of 250. Green flag back in the air. Single file restarts once again here from Martinsville.
As Arildsson just dominating so far here in the early going, and you got to wonder, Frank, he's had clean air all night. What's going to happen, A, when he gets into traffic, and B, if we have to do green flag pit stops, what's going to happen trying to get his way back up through the field as Broström and Gunnarsson go door to door?
He has had to make at least one pass here tonight. That was on the second run of the race where they actually got around to the back of the field to start lapping guys, as Broström not having an easy time of it, as Gunnarsson really putting up a fight on that outside line. Oscar Fredriksson in the 112 just behind these two just ran the fastest lap of the race at a 19.35. As these two still battling side by side, a great race between these two. Broström nosing out ahead a little bit, but Gunnarsson really confident and competent on the brakes on corner entry. Unfortunately, Broström, just as if not a little bit more so, takes the spot.
Broström got a little bit better of a run because you could see where that rubber is really laid down on the concrete strip. Where Gunnarsson was running, there's not a lot up there, so he was kind of having a tiptoe, and that really let Fredriksson and Eriksson close back in on him, as now Broström sets his sights on reeling in your leader, Alex Arildsson.
Another side-by-side battle. That's the 48 of Dennis Schrepp getting past Martin Liesnich in the 016. For those of you who are cheering for Michael Haflidason, there he is after getting spun around outside of the top 10. And sent outside of the top 10, pardon me. Haflidason has gotten himself back up into the 22nd position, now looking to the inside of the 54 of Ganbat. And that is where the caution will come out.
It's like
57 of Larson.
Johan Larson not having a good time of it.
That is Johan Larson, not Jakob Larson. We've seen around multiple times today. Same team between the two, but see what happened with Larson. I think this one might be the case of a little bit too much out of the corner. Jonas Force behind him, and yep, too much out of the corner. Tried to keep it straight and unfortunately could not.
Well, he caught just a little bit of the curbing in the middle of the corner. I think that's really what upset that car. Because you could, right from the center of the corner off, you could see where the front end started to wash, and then it caught, and it snapped the back end around on him on corner exit. And at that point, you're along for the ride.
Larson was running in 10th at the time of that spin. There's Jonas Force, who is now running in 10th because of that spin. Only one time in series history has this series gone to Martinsville. That was the championship race of season 1. Eric Lindhoff won the race after Thomas Adderson led 203 laps of the 256 that were in the race. 4 leaders, 7 lead changes, 29 cautions in a race that took just over 2.25 hours.
Ow.
Of the 156 laps that were completed, again, including overtime, 144 of them were under caution. That, however, was back on April 7th of 2021, and there have been a lot of guys coming and going from this series since that time.
And that was also back in the Gen 6 era, too.
Yep. Completely different style car as well.
But if you're playing the at-home drinking game, congratulations if you haven't had alcohol poisoning yet, as we are working our 9th caution.
20 to go to set a record. And we
for
know
the
we're,
series.
and
Our broadcast record is 23.
That'd be a double. We know we're going to get another one at lap 90, for that will be the end of the stage. But beyond that, it is going to be anyone's guess. Macca74 in the Twitch chat saying, not the proudest moment in SCL history, but this is one of those racetracks that even in real life produces these kinds of races, unfortunately. And
need I remind you of the Matt Kenseth Joey Logano debacle a few years ago?
Need I remind you also of the 1997 race at Bristol that had 23 cautions?
Yes.
So it's
half miles bring the tension way up.
Absolutely. Get this many people this close to each other, something's bound to happen. Green flag coming out. 11 laps to go before the end of the stage.
Broström giving plenty of room to the inside as Gunnarsson looks down low, coming through 1 and 2. Broström able to keep his foot in it and get away from the 33. As we've got some battling going on just inside the top 10 as Blix and Fours going after each other along with Eriksson.
That's Andre Solander getting around Daniel Holmer in that Bright Esports number 79 on the outside line. Robert Eriksson holding the inside line with Blix behind him. Boy, we talked about it. This is the entry to these corners that are going to be the problem here tonight, knowing with how good these guys have been on road courses. You'd figure being good on the brakes is how you're fast on circuits. You'd figure translates over here as well.
It does, because this track races more like a road course than it does a traditional oval because of how tight the corners are here. There was a while where the fast way around this joint was to actually grab a gear. And they're not really doing that as much anymore, but that used to be the fast way.
These guys are getting down to third gear in some of these cases, so you're dropping 2 gears.
Yeah.
Going into these corners. And again, this will be a racetrack that these guys should have plenty of practice on, because the official series was just here, or is here now, I believe.
Is here this week, yeah.
Is here. Caution coming out now, and I believe this is right on the line as to whether or not this will end the stage. Daniel Blomqvist, the one stopped on the outside of turn 4. Take a look and see what happened with Blomqvist here. Well, he was slow coming down the back straightaway.
He actually lost it coming off of 2.
Oh, somebody else. That's Skoglund has his right front suspension broken, and Lundgren a hard hit. Let's see what happened there between Blomqvist and Skoglund. We'll back that up. Here they are coming down the back straightaway. This is a lap prior. Skoglund in the 83, Blomqvist in the 487. Into turn 1.
Back end
Big
starts to wash
yep.
coming off at 2, and he
Big snap, and
overcorrected.
Skoglund had nowhere to go.
Watch it all the way around to turn 4, Frank.
Yeah, no, that's what we saw there. Is this Larson sends the 487 around, and another hard hit again for the 20 of Lundgren.
Lundgren has put it on the hauler immediately.
So I believe this would be the end of the stage.
Nope. Caution came out 1 lap early.
So we are okay. So we are going to have a
Let me go double check
dash. There's a chance that we're going to have a quick little dash here to see who's going to take the stage. Daniel Sollo getting a lap back. Sollo running in the 36th position. Getting a lap back there. As we wait for confirmation from Tony, I would have to assume that they're going to have to go lights out here. No, we're going to go another one.
That apparently is the stage.
Yep, so there you go. So Alexander Arildsson is your stage winner here tonight in that number 24 car. Mabby having a very good night here tonight. Get a brand new commercial provided by the series, and your car's been out in front for the entirety of the race. I'd say that's a pretty solid night for a sponsor. A couple other cars adorning series sponsors here tonight. We know the 52 of Haflidason Johansson with that AM Racing Team livery on the car. Also sporting the AMR Sim Racing seats on the side of that car as well.
Here we go.
Back to green flag racing we go. Alexander Arildsson off and away. Good start for Linus Broström. Jesper Eriksson looking to get around Jonas Gunnarsson, 37,
Oy.
and points leader up into third position. Now swings to the inside to try to defend from Gunnarsson.
Looks like they may have had contact coming down the back straightaway, but
Christopher Girios as the caution comes out again here. Not quite sure where this one came from.
apparently I was informed wrong.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the stage.
Oh, so there you go. So that is the stage break. And now we can officially say what we had said a moment ago. Alexander Arildsson is your stage winner, as you do.
Arildsson, Broström, Eriksson, Gunnarsson, Fredriksson, Homer, Selander, Blixt, Eriksson, and Jonas Forss getting the last point for the stage.
So we will see who, if any, come down pit road here. We have not had a single pit stop on the night so far.
Well, we've also run half the laps tonight under caution.
From anyone in the top 23, no one has come in. Hannes Nilsson came in for damage repair on lap 24. Marcus Stromberg came in for damage repair, I believe, on lap 3. Stefan Wang has come in twice on lap 34. Peter Helmbro came in on lap 86, that last caution in the 77, as we see Tony Oivonen get a lap back. Oivonen has come in twice, most recently on lap 18. Robert Lundgren on lap 84, Kenneth Tier on lap 9. Daniel Sollo on lap 17, Anton Ehrman on lap 63. Martin Godolakis, who is done for the night, on lap 55. as we see from high above here at Martinsville Speedway.
Now, Frank, I know that you and I both pride ourselves on our spelling capabilities.
We do? Oh, yeah,
Well,
we do.
What winds you up more? Someone just blatantly not even having anything close to the right word, or somebody using the wrong form of your?
That depends. Do we, does it involve a chat or no?
It involves a Discord chat.
Oh, it involves a Discord chat. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
Go have a look in the sponsor section.
Oh, Discord chat. Oh, okay. Yeah. Using the wrong yours is quite interesting.
You're there. We're.
Stuff you have to fill with during these.
Yeah, I
these
mean,
longer races.
Next time somebody does that, I'm just going to start calling them Bill. That's my name. My name's not Bill. It is now. You start using the proper English, and I'll start calling you by your actual name. As the pace truck peels on off, we get ready to turn them back loose here, working lap 97 of 250. Getting ready to put 97 in the books. Green flag is out. Arildsson pulls the trigger. Broström goes with him. Broström under heavy pressure from Eriksson right now. As Eriksson looking to the inside, going through 1 and 2.
Yeah, P3 might be one of the best starting spots that you can get here tonight. As Jesper Eriksson, who has been very, very quiet here tonight, running in the top 5 all race long, has now worked his way up into second position. Oscar Fredriksson running side by side with Daniel Holmer. That is for the 5th position, and Fredriksson will look to keep it.
Fredriksson using that bottom lane to dig with. But I dare say the longer Homer stays up there and the more side by side we get, that second lane is going to start paying better and better dividends as the night wears on, as we are at the century mark here tonight at Martinsville, Frank.
Eriksson and Broström battling side by side yet again here for second position. Eriksson on the outside, Broström on the inside. Again, Tony had mentioned earlier on tonight that Broström, what was the stat between Broström and I believe it was Stromberg, Marcus Stromberg?
No, it was
Jonas
Skoglund.
Pardon me. What was that?
Jonas Skoglund has 84 total oval starts in official iRacing races. That's across any paved oval division. Conversely, Linus Broström in the 71 has 86 wins just here at Martinsville.
So he is very good at this track, and unfortunately has not led a lap just yet, but that might change. Alexander Arildsson, though, puts the block on going into turn 1, but that awkward line through the center of 1 and 2 might be his undoing. Well, able to keep it straight, able to keep it in front of the 71 to keep the race lead. He has led all 103 laps completed so far.
Broström's just, it kind of reminds me of the Dale Earnhardt of this series, where he'll just sit back there and stalk you and just wait for you to make a mistake and then pounce.
Almost forced one there, a little bit of contact. You can just see there, we'll go to the gearbox, the racing couple. There you see that Instagram handle there on the very front bumper, just under the Chevy emblem on the nose of that car. That is the race sponsor for tonight's race. And the Instagram and apparently Twitch channels for Linus Broström and Emily Fagerl.
Mm-hmm. And, another fun fact, Chevy has long been known as the company with the bow tie. It was named after, again, Mr. Chevrolet. He never in his life ever wore a bow tie, though.
Well, there you go.
Explain that one to me.
The fun facts that you get here in this series. By the way, For those of you who are fans of Michael Haflidason, he has gotten himself back into the top 10. Haflidason is up into 10th position after spinning out from 6th earlier on tonight. So he has almost completed the comeback.
Almost, not quite there yet. But your biggest mover tonight is actually back there in 16th spot. That's the 59 of Jakob Larsson, as he is working on Marcus Stiller, your second biggest mover at plus 17. That's your battle for 15th and 16th, hot and heavy right now.
Larsson pounds the wall coming out of turn 4 there, but a very good run though for Larsson. We saw him have the issues during the sprint race and here earlier on tonight, but he has apparently figured out something with this racetrack that is helping him move up forward. Now getting past the 013 of Marcus Stiller, or attempting to at least, to get up into the 15th spot. A very good run for Larsson in just his second race in the series.
As battle for 5th starting to really get hot and heavy right now. Just as I say that, it starts to pitter out.
And we're getting into the lap cars now, which is why it pittered out.
49 getting up and out of the way as you do.
If you're looking for a chance to either make a move if you're Linus Broström or get away if you're Alexander Arildsson, this is the time. Lose each other in the lap cars as Tony Oivonen looks to the inside of Connie Lundell. That is for position between the 91 and the 84. And Arildsson not quite losing that 71, I'm sure, the way he would want.
Well, the 91 got up and out of the way quickly to let those two guys discuss that between themselves. But you got the 83 and 84 running door to door right now, and that's got to be really upsetting Arildsson, because Arildsson now has 3 wide with Broström.
Yep, that's Broström looking to attack on the outside line. You can use these lap cars to your advantage. That's certainly one way to use them. Oivonen gets out far enough. Broström loses the spot, but Broström showing that he is going to be a factor here, and he is not afraid to make that move to the outside if the lap cars are slow on the bottom.
You got to go where they're not, and that's really how you have success here at Martinsville. You've got to figure out, okay, can I run this car high? Do I have to stay on the bottom? Can I go to the top shelf? Can I keep it out of the marbles? That's the biggest key, because once you get the marbles on the tires, forget about it. You're screwed.
Emily Fegrell getting out of the way of those two. The 64 of Marcus Stromberg, who would be going his first lap down, is the next one. But as you see here, look at the glow, not just in the front tires, but in the rears. Those rear rotors.
We got one around in the back.
Oh. Gonna find who it is.
It was Skoglund, who had just come off pit road.
Jonas Skoglund in the 83. That's off of turn 4. And we had mentioned Jonas Skoglund being up in the top 10 in points. I'm not quite sure how much longer he will be in the top 10 in points after this race here today. We'll see what happened here with Skoglund in the 83. Help me out here, please.
It looks like he may have caught the curbing on the exit of 4.
Why am I not able to see what happened here?
Packet loss?
It shouldn't affect the replay, but in any event, use your imagination. I would say too much gas off the corner.
Well, no, he caught the curbing.
No, and that's
where it transfers from right where it transfers from the grass to the concrete on corner exit. He caught that piece of curbing, and it just washed the front end out. He was trying to catch it, and around it went.
We have seen our first pit stops from some of the guys that have been up towards the front. Linus Broström has been in. Jonas Gunnarsson has been in. Michael Haflidason has come down pit road. Andre Solander the same. So now these guys going to see what they're made of here. Top 9 have not come into pit in any way, shape, or form tonight. We'll see how these guys can work their way through the field and if they get caught up in something that may not have been of their doing.
That's going to be the biggest factor. Is you've got to watch out for the dumpster fires that are other people's. You can cause your own dumpster fire here easily enough at Martinsville. You don't want to get involved in someone else's.
Now, the interesting part about this is Linus Broström, Jonas Gunnarsson, Haflidason, Solander, Girios, Lundberg, Liesnich, Stiller, Carlin, Sherp, pardon me, Sherp.
I was wondering who was going to do it first.
Dennis Sherp in the 48. There he is, Sherp. We were told last week, and we were good last week. We were told again before the race. We've been fine until now. Dennis,
Sherp. I just want to point out it was Frank that dropped the ball on that one first tonight.
But I caught myself immediately.
Yes.
Continuing on, Pontus Nielsen, Gadbat, all of these guys have now come in, which means that all of these guys will be in front of Arildsson, Eriksson, Fredriksson, Blitz, Homer, Fors, Brodberg, and Larson when they do decide to come back down pit road. Or down pit road for the first time.
And with how difficult it's been to get a decent green flag run to try to weave your way through traffic, this is about to get interesting, Frank. As the Chevy Silverado pace truck peels on off to bring it pit side, Arildsson has the button as he brings it into the Mobby restart zone one more time, getting ready to put lap 122 in the books. Green flag is out, and we are back underway. And we got one around in the back.
Just completed our longest green flag run of the race, and unfortunately it will go no further than that, as that is Kenneth Tier that is around in the back on the restart. One could guess somebody had clipped the curb.
Let's find out.
Oh no, this was a jumble up here towards the back. Guys trying to get into their spots. They're 4 wide on the restart. And yep, he's straddling the curb, and unfortunately sends him around.
For those of you wondering what that was like for him in the car, if you've ever been on a skateboard or seen the X Games, it's like a skateboard doing a 50-50 grind on a rail.
Let's ride on board with Kenneth Tier with that. And again, that curbing there, it is raised behind the curbing, so it's not flat. So he's going to jump half on the curb. Second he gets off, the bottom grounds out, and around he goes. Jesper Eriksson decides to come down pit road, so does Jonas Forss. Bjorn Broström decided to come in as well, so there's 3 less drivers who have not come into pit at all tonight. Haflidason Johansson, for all the issues that he's had as he's coming around to get a lap back, he has not come down pit road either. So it is the top 7 plus Haflidason Johansson that have not seen pit road at all in this race.
Interesting.
And you understand the reasoning behind it. Now with these laps led here, Alexander Arildsson will, beyond any doubt, get the most laps led bonus point. So we've just passed the halfway point, so no one now can lead more laps than he can.
Right.
Arildsson, Fredriksson, Blixt, Homer, and Eriksson, Brodberg, and Larson. Jakob Larson, not
Kenneth.
Not Johan Larson. Not Johan.
Right.
Johan Larsson's down in the 31st position in the 57, both on the same team. But very much not running in the same positions. Do have a couple of retirements here tonight. Robert Erling done after 2 laps. Kim Nyholm done after 34. Martin Godolakis done after 55. Robert Lundgren done after 83. Jonas Skoglund done after 92. Kenneth Tier done after 110. Those are the retirements here for this race.
Pace truck peels on off to bring it down pit side. Arildsson going to have the button one more time as he brings him out of turn number 4 and into the Mobby restart zone one more time. Let's see if we can get a couple of green flag laps here. Arildsson pulls the trigger. Blixt goes with him this time.
It was a very awkward start for that outside line because Oscar Fredriksson was the guy who started in P2, but he started way back beyond Blixt for that restart. Gave the outside line no opportunity and effectively hands Blixt, who, by the way, his team right now is winning the Constructors' Championship, out in front.
As you do.
Anton Bradberg now falling back, has fallen behind Jonas Gunnarsson, now side by side with Michael Haflidason. Linus Broström, by the way, to his credit, came out in 12th as the caution comes out now. Jonas Forss, big pile up.
Forss, Stromberg, Ganbat, and Larson all getting involved in that one.
Johan Larson, there he is in the 57 in the foreground. See what happened here. Jonas Forss getting under the 48 of Scherp. Ooh, Larson gassed it up right in the middle of the corner. Ganbat didn't see the 64 of Stromberg letting off, and both of those guys running into the fence. See this from on board Johan Larsson's car. Way to just rolled the corner nicely, and unfortunately did not end well for him.
You know, I had a crew chief once tell me that he doesn't care about any other part of the car. The only thing that the driver is truly responsible for is their own front bumper. And that was the situation we just saw where, unfortunately, he was not in charge of his own front bumper.
We just saw there that iRacing clearly does not, as if we didn't know already, but iRacing clearly does not follow the real-life rules as far as the pit commitment line, as Emily Fagrell gets a lap back. Alexander Arildsson passing that white line on the back straightaway, crossing over that white line on the back straightaway and not coming down pit road. So Arildsson going to try to go as long as he can. And by the way, going back to Linus Broström, had restarted around 13th a couple of restarts ago. He has already worked his way up to 6th. In just those handful of laps of green flag racing that we've had.
And he's brought just about everyone else that had come down on that lap to get 4 fresh tires with him. Jakob Larson, the last one that went down to him. Anton Bratberg, the only one in the top 15 that hasn't been down pit road in that mix of fresh tired cars.
Again, Macca74 in the Twitch chat. I do agree. Brake wear would be quite a nice thing for the sim to sim.
Okay,
but
let me pause you there. They're talking about bringing out rain as well. Most of the people I know in the iRacing servers, aside from myself included, have a difficult enough time driving on a dry racetrack without brake fade. Now you want to add rain and brake fade.
Speaking
well, why not just do what the Euro NASCAR series is doing and let's scan the ice track next season.
Heck yeah, let's go. They gave us Rudskogen in a racetrack that nobody asked for.
Ooh. Let us know how you feel about that in the live chat. That's Frank Marchese, care of ESBN Towers, Hollywood, California, P.O. Box OU812.
You put one in the jar as well. ESBN Towers. Are you sure about that? As Arildsson,
I'm 100% sure about that because that's what I took the P.O. Box out in.
Arildsson leads away again. Back to single file restarts as Daniel Holmer putting Robert Eriksson up under fire, as there's the 48 of Dennis Schrepp around in turn number 1.
Chirp.
Damn.
Chirp.
Back in the jar it goes. Chirp.
Stefan Wong catching a piece of that one, as does Bat Ganbach.
Let's see what happened to Dennis Schrepp. This is on the restart. That is Jesper Eriksson trying to move his way up through the field after coming into pit. And a little bit too aggressive. Ganbat with nowhere to go.
Ooh.
And Wong was just trying to get away. And again, the reason why, there is a reason. We're not just jerks up here calling somebody by their calling somebody their wrong last name. The reason why I'm having such a problem getting Dennis Schrepp down is because when we were given the roster for this series and me putting everything in, I don't remember whether it was a mistake in the roster or if it was a mistake of me entering the roster in.
It was a mistake in the roster the first week.
But instead of me typing in SCHERP, the way it was supposed to be, it was typed in SCHREP. So that is why I am and I had gotten so used to it after the first 2 races.
As you do.
That it has stuck with me, and unfortunately I can't kick it. I've been having a hard time kicking it.
Wasn't there a late 80s, early 90s hip-hop song, Can I Kick It? Yes, you can.
Marcus Hagman, by the way, is doing God's work in the YouTube chat, counting the cautions for us. We are up to 15 apparently.
Yes, we are, because I have the
You've got 3
tower
fence posts over there?
No, I got the tower up.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you got 3 fence posts? You got
pretty much.
3 picket fences going already?
So let us know what your exacta is for tonight.
Well, there was apparently James, in the short time he was here during his lunch break, had a poll over in the YouTube chat that I'm just seeing now, and 80% of the chat said it would be over 15. There is still a chance.
Yeah, now, hold on. The poll was how many cars will finish on the lead lap.
Oh, okay. Okay, so over 15 cars on the lead lap, and because of all these cautions, it is keeping a lot of guys on the lead lap still. So Alexander Arildsson will lead away again here on this restart. Green flag is out. We are back single file racing again here at Martinsville.
There it is.
That was Gerios. I saw that 36 starting to fall, starting to tumble down the pylon, and unfortunately couldn't click to him fast enough, as there's the 36 of Gerios. Oh, coming down right across the front of the leader. And we'll now see what happened here. On board with Gerios. There's your restart. Take a look off the back. That is Jonas Gunnarsson trying to work his way through on fresh tires. Being just about as patient as Jesper Eriksson was on the restart prior, getting a couple more hits for his efforts.
So fine, how do you do?
Bjorn Broström has decided to come in. He was one of the drivers that hit Gyrios. See the right front suspension no longer attached. Still, Alexander Arildsson, Eric Blixt, Oscar Fredriksson, Daniel Holmer, Robert Eriksson, Jakob Larsson, and Anton Bradberg apparently have not come down pit road. We are more than halfway through this race.
Yeah, that's the count I come up with as well.
Eric Blixt has gotten out in front of Arildsson. And I don't know if these two are goofing with each other or if there was a pass that we had missed. It certainly did not show up in ours, but if this is the case, this will be the first lap that Alexander Arildsson has not led in this race, and there it is officially. So let's take a look now and see if a pass was conducted between the 95 and the 24.
Lap 143 to 144 is when it would have happened. No, it
They
didn't.
only had about a half a lap to get it done.
Yeah,
Caution's going to come out right about
It didn't happen.
here. Yeah, there's... So why Eric Blixt? Oh, maybe it's because of the... It's probably because of what happened with Gyrios coming out of his spin. Alexander Arildsson had to lock it down, and Blixt went around the outside of him, so they probably gave him the position there as Arildsson stopped on track. That's the only thing I can see. And again, oh, I think we're about to go back to green flag racing here, so we're going to...
We are. Pace truck peels on off. Is Blixt going to have the button for the first time tonight? And Arildsson already giving him a little bit of the chrome horn as they come through 3 and 4. Blixt brings him into the Mobby restart zone, waits on it before he pulls the trigger, and we are underway. That kind of stacked everybody up from fourth on back.
Absolutely did. As Fredriksson slow off the jump. Daniel Holmer as well. We'll show you under the next caution what I'm talking about here as to why that may have happened as Broström gets around the outside of Robert Eriksson, putting him back up into the 5th spot. Eric Blixt, by the way, has really moved his way up in this race. He is plus 16, so he has had a very good car. May not have been able to show it in qualifying, but in the race he's been able to stay clean and move forward. So this is going to be a fight for Arildsson here as we get this race going again.
Well, your biggest mover right now just got into the top 10. That's Jakob Larsson in the 59. He's currently sitting plus 27 right now, Frank. Make that plus 26 as the 81 of Haflidason gets by him. Fastest lap of the race so far, Eric Blixt, 19:10.
And that is almost a full 10th quicker than the previous best, which was held by Linus Broström at a 19:17. As Broström looks to the inside of Daniel Holmer for position. Jonas Forss coming out of pit road.
3 wide.
Only for the moment. And Blixt right now with the biggest lead of the night thus far at just over 0.6 of a second. So that 95 is rolling right now as there's Joko Ware right in front in the 101. Now we're going to take a look at this incident here. This is why, or at least this is why I'm assuming, that Blixt was given the race lead on the restart, because we're coming back around here after the caution comes out. The 36 has not straightened up yet. Watch the 24 have to stop And well, no, that doesn't make sense either, because the 95 would actually have started in third.
Oh, he was in second when the caution flew.
Right, but if my thought as to why he started up front and him passing the 24 is that the 24 had to stop because of the 36, he had gotten passed by Oscar Fredrickson, so in reality the 95, it should have been 24, 112, 95 if we were going by my thought.
I don't have an answer for you on that one, but I think we did find an answer for the question I did ask you earlier, Frank, was what's going to happen when Arildsson gets into lap traffic and doesn't have the clean air. Blixt has the clean air. Arildsson now doesn't, and he's falling back into the clutches of Oscar Fredrickson very quickly here, as Blixt starting to still pull a gap.
It's not going to be pulling that gap for too much longer, as we're about to get back into lap traffic. That is Bloomqvist in front of that 95, and we saw how much this is going to really stack the field up here. As the 52 gets put another lap down. 21 cars remain on the lead lap. Philip Carlin, the first of the drivers not on the lead lap. The only other driver that is on the same lap as the 22 of Philip Carlin is Connie Lundell in the 91. Everyone else is either 2 or more laps down.
Now, Connie hasn't had the worst race here tonight, but she definitely hasn't had as solid a run as she was hoping for.
Riding on board with Daniel Homer right above the splitter. See, the clean racetrack you can get around here, it's quite a nice little track to run. Get down to about 106K going into these corners and hit almost 200 going down the straightaways. So you gain about nice gain of about 100K, which is 62 miles an hour, and the caution comes out. This time I believe Pontus Nilsson is the one. Yes, he is in the 19. So Nilsson brings out caution number 17 on the night. See what, oh, he was already around. May have been trying to go into pit road.
No.
See a little bit further back.
Looks like he may have gotten into it with Bat Ganbat coming down the back chute.
Ganbat with a little bit of a wiggle coming out of turn 2, and it would appear, oh, Schrepp also. Schrepp with an unforced. Sherp with an unforced error down the back straight. Tony, thank you. I do appreciate you calling me out on my stupidity.
Well, I don't want to get yelled at next week for it.
Well, like I said, oh, yep, that was Sherp trying to avoid it, ended up turning himself down into the inside wall down the back straightaway. And now, all of the drivers that we had been waiting on to come into pit have finally done so. Arildsson down pit road, Fredrickson, Blixt rolling off of pit road now. There is the 95. '24 there. Blixt coming out 13th, Arildsson 15th. Or make it 14th and 15th, sorry. And Blixt, did Blixt get a speeding on exit penalty?
It appears that he did.
Yeah, he is allowing everyone back around.
Yep.
So that would be a speeding on pit exit penalty for Eric Blixt.
Sure shooting did by about 10 miles an hour too.
Let's take a look and see. We'll ride on board with him here. Possibly, if I can find the spot for the replay to pick up. Here we go. Does the dashboard work in replay? I am not sure. No, it does not. Pit road speed limit around here is 35 miles an hour. You saw he was up around 8,000 RPM, or 3,800 RPM, and then right as he exited pit road, he went down to about 36.
Yeah, he was a good 70 to 80 kilometers an hour when he hit that pit cone.
Now, for those of you who want the quick freedom units conversion, every 40K...
About 50 miles an hour.
Every 40K is 25 miles an hour. So if you're going 80K, that you're doing 40 miles an hour.
As the pace car does peel on off, look who won the pony, Linus Broström. He is going to lead us back to green for the first time tonight as he goes into the Mobby restart zone, coming off of turn number 4, pulls the trigger, and just like that, we are back underway as Salander going to the inside of Gunnarsson, trying to make something happen.
Salander on the outside, actually, in the 140. Gunnarsson as high as he has been since Broström got around him, I think the last time. Jesper Eriksson battling with Michael Haflidason as well, as all three of those Alcatech cars lining the outside line down the straightaway, as the caution will fly yet again.
Holmberg, Holmbro, Oivonen, and Lundell.
Connie Lundell has gotten the car straightened out. Peter Helmbro in the 77, there he is. And Force Esports number 77. Part of the Force Esports Academy is Peter Helmbro. Let's take a look and see what happened there. Let's be on board with Helmbro. Too much gas on exit.
No,
it was the cars on the outside of him.
Yeah.
It's the 42.
He had all sorts of help.
It's the 42 of Anton Ehrman and the 52. Getting into it as well on the outside. Of bad net code there between the 42 and 52 there. As well, helping that incident along. That's the 52 of Haflidi Johansson, by the way. So under caution for the 18th time here tonight.
What happened with Connie Lundell? Because that would have been two separate incidences. Oh.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
Connie Lundell.
Well, the 59 just got the Dairy Queen award.
There's the 91. Slow. Oh, just slight contact with Tony Oivonen trying to get around the 77. And you said the 59?
The 59 of Jakob Larsson
is still running.
No, I take that back. I had the wrong car.
What Tony means by the Dairy Queen award is the car has been disqualified from the race, DQ. There is Jakob Larsson, who again we had mentioned during the during one of the earlier cautions. Larsson.
No, it is Jakob Larsson.
He's still rolling.
Johan Larsson.
Johan Larsson, okay.
Sorry, I had the wrong Larsson.
Yep, and Johan Larsson is done. So the last Larsson flying the team for Lockhart, currently running in 16th. And as we had mentioned with Larsson, Jakob Larsson, he had had such a mare of a time during the sprint race. And during this race, he has been so good. plus 20. He was up in the top 10 for a while there as we're getting set to go back to racing. A very, very good run for that 59 of Jakob Larsson after making his season debut 2 weeks ago in Michigan, finishing 33rd.
Definitely looking to turn that season around. His pace truck is in. Broström has the button one more time. Gunnarsson looking to go with him as they bring it into the Mobby restart zone one more time. Green flag is out, and we are back underway. 175 laps in the books.
Very good start there for Broström. Gunnarsson unable to keep up. Jesper Eriksson able to slide in, and the 36 again, hard into the wall. Christopher Girios trying to get down, trying to get to pit road, and will do. He got hit hard in the back, and going into turn 2, that car went dead right into the outside wall. And Connie Lundell has also gone around again.
So has the 016 of Martin Linsaznik.
Now this incident with Liesnik is the one that has caused the caution here. Going into 3, it's the 013 of Stiller there. Liesnik just goes around on his own. I think actually that incident, this incident with Connie Lundell might be a something else entirely. You'll see Girios, I believe, here. Slow on the outside. Jonas Forss spun the tires on the inside coming out of 2. Spun right across the front of the 91. And then here is what happened. We'll go from the restart here on what happened with Girios in the 36. Yellow car on the inside line. Holmer dives, makes it 3 wide going into turn 1 on the restart, and might have gotten contact, or definitely got contact, pardon me, with Oscar Fredriksson. So that was everything you needed to be caught up on under that caution. Connie Lundell trying to get a lap back, was blocked off by Jesper Eriksson. Now we'll continue to get the lap back.
Currently working caution number 19 here tonight. So plenty of time to place your bets, folks, of how many are we going to get. Exacta wins a prize.
And we talk so much about this racetrack and how historic it is, and you can see one of the lesser known features of this racetrack. You see on the back straightaway there, that railroad line that goes down the back straightaway, that line has actually been moved back a little bit from where it originally stood. I think that that gray footpath actually is where it had initially stood.
It is.
Prior to it being moved. That is a Norfolk Southern line for freight. And there's a great picture from the 2001 race here at Martinsville with a freight train going by as the race is going on.
As you do.
The more you know about Martinsville and the surrounding area of Ridgewood, Virginia. As we are getting set to go back to green flag racing, and once again under single file restart conditions. Kruken6 in the Twitch chat putting his number in as 26 will be the number of cautions tonight.
Well, we're on pace for that anyways.
You got 7 more to go in the last 76 or so laps of this race. Linus Broström will lead them down. Single file. Green flag is back in the air here at Martinsville.
Broström showing the way as Eriksson and Gunnarsson running stem to stern right behind him, trying to get this one sorted out as quickly as they can. Dan Homer and Marcus Stiller now going after each other.
Battling side by side. Homer still on the bottom of Stiller. Eric Lundberg in front of those three. Lundberg, the winner of the sprint race here earlier on tonight. Homer gets the spot on Stiller, and now we'll look to get the spot on Lundberg, and we'll do just that.
Stiller, one of your biggest movers tonight, sitting plus 23 currently, as here comes the 24 of Arildsson, trying to pick his way through traffic on the fresher tires for those around him. Currently your highest runner of those that came down on lap 164.
Stiller now looking to put the move on the 18
Oy.
of Lundberg, and Lundberg keeps it straight, leading on the side of the 013 of Stiller, avoiding a caution.
The 59 bails out. Jakob Larsson not wanting anything to do with that.
Larsson plus 22 on the night. Michael Haflidason battling with Andres Solander. Solander also trying to keep Daniel Homer behind him. There is Dennis Scherp coming out of pit road. I was waiting for the wrong there. I was waiting for the buzzer.
At least we haven't called him Shrek.
There you go. Robert Eriksson battling side by side with Marcus Stiller, two of the Team Superior cars. Robert Eriksson in the 35, right now the highest running of the Team Superior cars.
So here comes the 95 of Eric Blix, trying to reel his way back up through this field.
95 of Blix running in 10th right now. Remember, had gotten a speeding penalty on pit exit a couple of cautions ago. Back on lap 164 is when that would have happened. Linus Broström right now battling, well, right now in the race lead. Jesper Eriksson, the points leader, behind him. 0.6 of a second separating the top two, one of the biggest gaps of the day between the two, and Eriksson is reeling it in, and it's going to come falling in now as the caution comes out. That is the 4 of Emily Fagerl backwards in turn 4.
It's like Tony Oivonen and Jonas Fors also catching a piece of that one at some point.
Let's take a look and see here. There's the 4 of Fagerl. Looking wet in the 101. He's had a very quiet day, and Oivonen sends her around. Connie Lundell catching inside wall as well, jumping over the curb.
Trying to avoid her teammate.
Oh boy. So we are at 20 now, with 57 laps to go.
Just enough time for 10 more cautions.
Don't start that. Macus in the Twitch chat, 100% right, and that's why, that's why we thought that this is. We've said it a couple of times in the broadcast. For those of you who are maybe new or just joining the broadcast, we figured that this was going to be a very good race for these guys, knowing how good they are on the GT3 side, which, by the way, we will be at Mount Fuji next week.
Looking forward to that
with
one.
These guys. It'll be a 3-race special instead of a sprint and a feature. We have 1 sprint and 2 20-minute races coming up for Fuji next week.
I thought there was 2 20s and a 30 and a 40.
It's 1:15 and 2 20s at Fuji next week.
So it is.
But we thought that this would be a successful race for these guys because it is. It's 2 hairpins and 2 long straightaways, and we figured how good these guys have been at braking for the road course races, for the GT3 races. It might carry over to here, but it's turned into an open lobby, as you tend to do here.
I think too many people are trying to channel their inner Cole Trickle. Because the dumbest line second dumbest line in a movie ever stated, he didn't bump you, he didn't nudge you, he rubbed you, and rubbing son is racing. No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it certainly is not.
If you can bring the car off the track, load it onto the hauler, take it back to the shop, change the tires, the springs, and the shock package, and then use the car the following week without having to do anything else to it, that's a successful race.
And looking in the chat here, the Feather cars I do not believe are here tonight, and some of the old Gents cars I do not believe are here tonight. They have not participated here much this season, but again, we're only race 5.
The Feather cars haven't been on track since Daytona.
Yeah, we're only a couple of races into this season. There's still a long way to go. Oh, big spin on the restart. Jesper Eriksson around at the very start, clogging up the rest of the track for the rest of the field. Haflidason is the one that gets the big end of the stick again, unfortunately. Jesper Eriksson spun the tires on the start, and that is the first of the 21 cautions we've had now. That is the first on a restart that we've had tonight.
Yeah, they usually wait till at least turn 1. He no sooner cleared the start-finish line or around that car went.
And that was a big one here on this restart. We'll see it again here from above. What happened to Jesper Eriksson? If the 81 may have caught a piece of him. No, spins, just spun the tires on his own.
Yeah, that was all by his lonesome.
And then you can see just how quickly the track clogs up as everyone tries to get around with as little or no damage as possible.
Well then.
Certainly has changed the complexion of this race, because Jesper Eriksson's been one of the guys that's been up towards the front. Eric Blixt gets through, gets a couple more spots. Alexander Arildsson, we saw how good he was earlier on tonight. He gets through without damage. And all that work Michael Haflidason did to get back into the top 5 all goes for naught as he's back down in 18th.
Wrong place, wrong time, and that's what I was talking about earlier when I said try to avoid getting caught up in other people's mistakes.
Second row outside line for that restart, and unfortunately it did not go well for him. But he will get a wave around here, as well as Ganbat in the 45 behind him, leaving 19 cars on the lead lap. Emily Fagrell should be getting the free pass here. Get her back on the lead lap. Linus Broström still a ways behind. All of the cars in front of the 71 here are going to be getting wave arounds. Fagrell, Jochen Wet in the 101. The 36 of Girios will be getting a wave around. 52 is getting a wave around. There's a number of cars here that are going to be catching up to the back of this field here once we are set to go back to green flag racing, which I believe is right now. Or maybe not.
Maybe? Nope.
Yeah, they're going to extend the caution here because the field is still very much spread out. Oh, no, they're not. Pace car comes in.
They just released the wave around cars.
And the pace car
and people
comes in.
are screaming.
I'm sure they are. Green flag is coming back out here. Broström back onto the loud pedal. Under 50 laps to go here from Martinsville. Arildsson looks to the outside of Daniel Homer. Eric Blixt starting to work his way up. Homer and Gunnarsson make contact. This is going to allow Blixt through. Three wide, and the caution comes out. Boy, we were about to have 3 wide, 2 rows deep going into turn 1 there before the caution came out again. This time it is a new face, Anton Bradberg is the one that has gone around here.
He's been pretty quiet up until now.
It has been a very quiet night for the 111. Haven't been too many numbers that we haven't called tonight. Bradberg is one of those. A little bit of contact at the 59 and then gets sent around by the 64. Stayed straight, but because he was stopped on the track is why there. We'll take a look at how Eric Blixt got up where he did. Homer and Gunnarsson make contact there, clogging up the 24. There is Blixt, and the caution comes out here. That was about as close as you could have gotten. So it'll be Gunnarsson, Homer, Blixt, Arildsson behind Linus Broström here for this restart.
All right, then.
Again, we'd like to thank everyone who has stuck with us here through the YouTube and the Twitch chats as well. It has been a long one today thus far. My OBS system has shown we've been just under 2.5 hours on stream here tonight, which is certainly one of the longer nights we've had.
Yeah.
Here for this series. Not the longest night we've ever had, though.
No, far from it.
But we certainly do thank everyone who has stuck it out here on YouTube and on Twitch. We know that these races can get kind of tedious, especially when they get this long with as many incidents as we've had. So we definitely thank you guys for sticking it out with us here. And I am very happy to report that I am glad that I took the 3 o'clock doctor's appointment today. Just a phone appointment, but still. So we are going to go back to green flag racing, and once again we are going to go single file. Linus Broström, Jonas Gunnarsson, Daniel Homer, Eric Blixt, and Alexander Arildsson. Your top 5. Arildsson led effectively the first half of this race before somehow getting passed up by Eric Blixt, and then everyone came down pit road. That is how Linus Broström has cycled out to the race lead here. Jonas Gunnarsson looking to get his first win of the season. Running behind, green flag is back in the air. We are off and running again here at Martinsville, 41 laps to go.
41 to go as Gunnarsson under heavy pressure from Daniel Homer right now. As Homer now feels the pressure from Eric Blixt. Blixt trying to get back up into a podium position as a little bit of racing going on just inside the top 10 with Eriksson, Fredriksson, and Salander starting to go after each other.
Oscar Fredrickson had to back up a little bit there in that Force Esports car. Blix still just barely has the nose under Daniel Holmer, looking for the third spot. And Holmer not readily giving it up.
Here comes
And
Arildsson.
Around goes Holmer as Arildsson tried to stick his nose under and follow Blix through. And unfortunately, it did not work for him. And there's more piling in the back, I believe.
487 just clobbered Holmer.
It's Daniel Blomqvist in the 487. They go off and racing into turn one. See Blixt. He's not quite clear of Blixt, and Arildsson tries from far back to try to fill the gap. Unfortunately, didn't work for him, and then enter stage left one Daniel Blomqvist, and that's a hard hit.
Yeah, that'll definitely jar your teeth.
That will drop Arildsson from 4th to 6th here for this restart, and N24 has not had a good run since having the lead stripped from him. And I say that because we did not see a reason as to why Eric Blixt would have gotten in front of him for that restart. And the reasoning that I thought I had was proven wrong once we saw the replay, as Jochen Wet gets a free pass.
I mean, it was a good theory. It was worth exploring, and the only thing is it didn't pan out.
As most things I try don't.
Welcome to my world. So Linus Broström, Jonas Gunnarsson, Eric Blix, Jesper Eriksson, André Salander, Alex Arildsson, Robert Eriksson, Oscar Fredrickson, Marcus Stiller, and Eric Lundberg rounding out your top 10 as we are working lap 215 of 250 here tonight from Martinsville. Make that 215 in the books now, working caution number 23 on the night.
So we still have time. Again, the series record, and I know I'm harping on this, and I don't mean it to be negative, but they're in every sport, in every form of athletics or in racing, there are the records that you don't want. And again, we're closing in on that. We are 6 cautions away from tying the series record for cautions with 29. That was again here at Martinsville at the very finale of season 1. 35 drivers entered that race, by the way. And somebody Kruken6 in the Discord chat now is cheering for 3 more cautions, and that's it. As we are getting set to go back to green flag.
Oh,
racing.
hell no. If we're going to get 3 more cautions, you guys better be setting a record tonight.
Well, no, 3 more cautions, and then he gets the exact number, and he gets the prize.
No. No. At this point, you guys better set a record.
As Gunnarsson allowing Jesper Eriksson to get to the outside, and the caution comes out. It's number 24 on the evening, and this time it is the 18 of Eric Lundberg. Oh, there's a big pile up. There's a big pile up behind.
That was a Lundberg. 24th caution, 24 car.
Alexander Arildsson, the one around. Run over by André Salander And Ayrton Lundberg catches the back end of it. Boy, almost head on with a couple of guys there. And then there was a big stop up out of turn 4, it would have appeared. We'll continue on with this with Lundberg. Looking at the 18 on the outside line. He tried to sneak around with Fredriksson, and that honestly didn't work out at all for Fredriksson either. Fredriksson with big time damage. So Alexander Arildsson, for all of the laps that he has led here tonight, now running in 19th position, forced to come in again. And his night really started to go south with that pit stop back on lap 164.
It absolutely did, and that's definitely not something he needed to have happen.
You needed to pit.
What's happened since then?
True, yes.
It's fallen off the cliff since then.
Jesper Eriksson, after spinning the tires on that restart the last time he was in second, has somehow, some way gotten back up to second position, and now Alexander Arildsson will lose a lap as he does not beat the pace car to the pit exit line. So this night going from bad to worse for the 24.
I mean, at that point, it was almost worth getting the speeding penalty, going to the tail end of the field, just to stay on the lead lap.
It's pretty much going to be there anyway. Good news, though. Well, maybe not.
No, definitely not.
I was going to say the good news is the only other driver on his lap is Daniel Holmer. However, Holmer is the reason why those two are on the same lap.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, we've gone back to double file.
Yes, we have. So green flag is coming back out. Jesper Eriksson gets another crack at starting on the outside after spinning the tires last time around. He will not spin the tires this time. However, he will lose out apparently to Jonas Gunnarsson as we are back green flag racing.
Not so soon as Eriksson battles back on the top side. They've got a little bit of rubber laid down on that second lane. Gunnarsson locks him up and gets into Eriksson.
And Blix, once again, the benefactor, up into second, goes to 95, the 18 of Eric Lundberg. Oh, around goes Jesper Eriksson, hard into the inside wall going into turn 1. And rolling backwards through turns 1 and 2. See what happened with Eriksson. He got turned big time there by Andre Solander. Oh, it looked like a late move by the 37 to get to the inside to cover off Solander, and by that time he was already there. I wouldn't call it a late move, but there was...
That was one of those moves that the late Ayrton Senna made, where I'm going to put my car here. If we crash, it's on you.
That was certainly a racing incident nonetheless between those two. And Solander, because of that hard hit to the wall in turn 1 where he got pinched into the wall, he is going to have to come in for damage repair. Caution 25.
24 laps to go. Plus the 3 overtimes that we have available.
Daniel Holmer, the recipient of the free pass here. And that will leave the 24 of Alexander Arildsson, the only driver 1 lap down. Arildsson is going to come into pit here. Only driver one down, you may as well. So let's just run through some of these guys here. Linus Broström has been very good all night. Eric Blixt has been Johnny on the spot on multiple different occasions here tonight. Gunnarsson solid. Fredriksson solid. Eriksson has been very quietly, Robert Eriksson has been very quietly up in the top 10 all race. Michael Haflidason has been as high as 4th. Spun out twice, has gotten into the mid-20s twice, and is somehow back in 6th. Marcus Stiller has had a good but quiet night. Jakob Larsson has had full-on redemption from his sprint race. Eric Lundberg, the winner of the sprint race, running in 9th. Marcus Stromberg has been involved in a couple of incidents, but still seats in the top 10. Martin Liesnik finds himself in 11th after multiple dust-ups. Ganbat is in 12th after multiple dust-ups tonight. Emily Fagrel was backwards about 20 laps ago, is now in 13th. Pontus Nielsen, who had a lot of issues at the beginning of the race, running in 14th. Connie Lundell has been through a war tonight, is in 15th. Jochen Wett, who started in last after not setting a qualifying lap, is running in 16th. Martinsville is funny sometimes, Tony.
Funny uh-oh, as opposed to funny ha-ha. As the pace truck peels on off, Broström has the button from the front row. He's going to have Blixt with him. Coming out of turn number 4 and into the Mobby restart zone they go. Broström wastes absolutely no time pulling the triggers. Gunnarsson trying to go with Blixt.
Gunnarsson does get the position to the inside of Blixt. Again, Blixt has run 2 races this season, has finished 4th in both races as the caution comes out again. Number 26. Daniel Blomqvist, I believe.
I've got the 37 of Solander. No, I'm sorry.
It's the
You're right.
140 of Solander. Let's see.
The 140. There
On
it
board
is.
with Solander. Boy, he got loose and lost it. Unidentified car, I believe possibly the 77 of Peter Helmbro. Oh no, that's the 37 of Eriksson again.
It was, as
Somebody's going to hit him here. There's Helmbro,
that was the
a
79.
hard hit.
Yeah, that was the 79 of Homer.
Homer, a hard hit. The 42 also clipped him on the front end. The 41, pardon me, also caught him on the front end. And Solander with left front down into the pits. And that will give Alexander Arildsson a last gasp effort on the lead lap. Arildsson should be getting his wave around momentarily, unless iRacing deemed as he was a part of that caution, which I don't see how.
Because he did brush the 104 or 140 just before.
Let's see this from Arildson's point of view here. On board with Alexander Arildsson. Incident happening in front of him. Yep, a little bit of contact there. Jumps up over the grass. That might be why he is not getting his lap back here.
Right.
So now he
And things have
Tony
definitely come off the rails for the 24 here tonight. Led the first half of the race.
and lost the lead with no real concise reason either. And then ever since he came into pit on lap 164, it has gone completely sour for him. as his bad night continues. So that was caution number 26. Kruken, I think you have to hope for a 14-lap run here. It has been done. We have done it. You need to hope for one now when the stakes are higher than they were when we did it last. So we are about to go back to green flag racing yet again. 14 laps to go. Linus Broström in the race lead. Eric Blixt to the outside. Fredriksson and Gunnarsson, row number 2. Off and rolling again from Martinsville. Green flag is back in the air. A very good start by Oscar Fredriksson. Gunnarsson immediately slots into the inside, leaving Blixt out to dry on the outside.
Blix battles back, though, on the outside of Fredriksson, coming into turn number 3, still side by side. Dive bomb, and that's going to give the spot temporarily to Fredriksson, as looks like Arildsson in it again.
Oh, that's Holmer in the 79. You want to talk about another guy who's had a complete mare of a race since one incident. Jochen Wet around Connie Lundell, again, who we said has gone through a war tonight. See what happened here. Daniel Sollo, Alexander Arildsson on board a Solo. Let's jump out, actually. Oh, that happened in front. Eriksson. Something happened with Eriksson up in front. See if we can see it here, if we're in the middle of it. Yep, there's 37 of Eriksson. Oh, lost it off of 2. Right up into Connie Lundell, the 101 with nowhere to go. 79 with nowhere to go. 18, 36, nowhere to go either. Talk about another driver's race who's come completely off the rails. At 37 was up in the top 5, having a very quiet night. We're on board with Daniel Sollo here as this incident happens in front. There's a couple of bumps to the nose of that number 13, but other than that, all good.
Connie Lundell has left front suspension that's not attached anymore, so that's going to be night over for her.
It's been a long night for that 91, unfortunately getting 13 laps away from the finish is when it comes to an end. So you've gone through all of that effort to lose it in the final breath. Very unfortunate for the 91.
For those of you keeping track at home, 27th caution with 10 laps to go here at Martinsville.
Coming up on 3 hours here tonight. Race time is at 2:10. As we double them up and get ready to go. 8 laps to go.
So we have 10 minutes left in the session.
Oh, so we might run to time.
Good possibility.
Linus Broström leading the way. Oscar Fredriksson on the outside. Eric Blix, not the greatest of restarts on the bottom, but not a good one for Fredriksson either, as Fredriksson really spun the tires, allowing Blix to go through. Gunnarsson there as well.
I think Fredriksson spun the tires because Gunnarsson got to him.
Certainly could be it. Martin Liesnik comes down pit road, surrendering a top 10 spot for the 016.
sounded like he was out of gas.
Might have been. He's one of the guys that came in very early on.
Lap 118 for him.
Blix still on the inside of Fredriksson. A lot of cars coming down pit road.
Contact.
Fredriksson sends Blix to the outside line. Blix doing a great job not getting into the wall there, as now here comes Gunnarsson looking to the inside of Fredriksson.
Gunnarsson in the Volvo trying to get by that Camaro of Fredriksson. Linus Broström, though, has checked out to the tune of 3/4 of a second already, as the 112 of Fredriksson blows the corner in one.
That will allow Gunnarsson to go through.
5 to go.
Another Alcantech car moving up a position. That's Michael Haflidason into 4th, ahead of Robert Eriksson. Linus Broström with the biggest lead of the night so far, just under 1 second. Gunnarsson, Fredriksson, Haflidason, Eriksson, Larsson. Your top 6. What a night for Jakob Larsson.
Broström leads him out of turn number 4. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 to go here at Martinsville. Broström and Gunnarsson are starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Fredriksson and company behind them. Fredriksson in an Alcantech sandwich, as he's got Gunnarsson in front of him and Haflidason behind him, is those three are slugging it out for the final 2 steps to the podium.
White flag
in the air. We are racing back to checkers, Frank.
Linus Broström 3/4 of a second clear of this battle here for second, and it is not going to matter. Linus Broström coming through again. A driver is very well known for winning races here at Martinsville. Does it again. Linus Broström, his second win of the season, takes it here at Martinsville. Gunnarsson, Fredriksson round out the podium.
What a race.
Certainly one not to be forgotten, as Linus Broström got the lead after the names up at the front that hadn't pit came down pit road on lap 164 and did not look back. And as you had mentioned, 85 official Martinsville wins?
Yep. 86.
86.
Got 2 today.
He will
This makes his third time in victory lane just at Martinsville today.
And for Linus Broström, Tony, I believe you are with our race winner right now.
Linus Broström, congratulations on getting your 3rd paperclip victory of the day. Wow.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's this was definitely the hardest one so far. Messed up qualifying a bit, started 6th. I mean, that's still pretty good, but was hoping to win the stage and then fall back and not win the race, but apparently it turned out the other way around. So I don't know how, but I'm here in victory lane 0x. I have no idea how that happened, honestly.
With a 0x to boot. Congratulations, sir. That is not easy to do, especially with all the carnage that was going on around you all race long.
Yeah, I don't think my car has a scratch on it. I don't know if maybe I had a couple of 0x from some door scrapes, but more than that, I didn't have anything at all. So
where did I put my car keys? Let's solve that problem. Well, Linus, we know it's going to be generally hard to pass here at Martinsville. What was going through your mind when you saw everybody that was in front of you stay out when you came down on 118?
Well, it's I think I only had 1 car in front of me or 2 staying out, but it's I mean, if they had pitted there, I don't know if I would have pitted, but I wasn't showing any signs of pitting, and I knew that if they pit, I'm probably gonna have to stay out here because it's so hard to pass. But then again, when I was behind Alex the whole race, if I'd have just had a few more laps on every one of those cautions, I could have passed him probably, because it felt like I was faster. But then when they stayed out and I pitted, I just knew that, well, it's survival mode now. Just need to stay ahead of everyone else that pitted, and then when they pit, hopefully I'll cycle to the front with a somewhat good car. And turned out I was P11 or something. 2 people crashed quickly, so I was P9, and from there it was just smooth runnings, and then some more cars pitted and some more cars pitted, and eventually I found myself at the front, and from there was just no looking back.
Well, the next time we see the Cup cars, it's going to be at the D-shaped Devil of the Desert, or D-shaped Demon of the Desert, I should say, as we go into Phoenix with an open dog leg. What are your thoughts going into that race in 2 weeks?
Well, we ran the final there last year, and Alexander Arildsson, he led every single lap, so from what happened to him here, expect him to come out, trying to do the same again. I like the track, but I'm not very quick there compared to the fastest guys. But my goal, possibly a top 10, maybe sneak in a stage win if I can with some strategy. But yeah, it's just another race for me, I guess, next week. But it's going to be a good show.
Well, next week we're back in the GT3 cars as we go to Fuji. But Linus, again, congratulations on the victory here tonight at Martinsville. Who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
The team, obviously, Force Esports and our sponsors, Mabi Hyrbilar and Cup-serien. And then as the league admin, obviously, I need to thank Hårlinjen Timrå, AMRT, Aria81, VGP och timeattacknu.se as well. And then obviously everyone who's bought all these race names. But it's suiting, because me and my fiance, we bought the name for this race, so it's suiting that I won here. Just a shame it had to go so long.
There you go then. But again, Linus, congratulations.
Guys,
well, thank you, sir. We wouldn't be here without you. But again, congratulations. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Frank, I believe you've got the driver of the 33 with you now.
I do. Jonas Gunnarsson, it was quite a battle with some of those guys battling just outside of the race lead, but I'm sure quite fun, and coming home as the highest finishing Alcantech car doesn't hurt either.
No, it was a messy race, so just finishing on the lead lap was good, I think. And I don't know. I don't really remember the race.
There you go. That's racing at Martinsville right there. Just going through that last restart, knowing you had to get around Fredriksson and trying to get around Blixt, how much fun was it though in those battles that you got into today?
Yeah, it was fun. I know Eric is a clean racer, so we try to keep it clean on each other and don't take each other out, obvious. And who else was it? Fredriksson? Yeah, I don't know. Never raced him before, so just trying to be aggressive on the inside there, and it worked out. And Linus, I didn't have the pace today to get him.
Now, now we head to Phoenix next week. What are your in 2 weeks' time? What are your thoughts going into Phoenix?
Yeah, I think Phoenix is a better track than this, so hopefully I got my first win there.
All right. Anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, the team, Alcantech, Almitech, Nyman Racing, Simlab, and you guys. Thank you for doing this commentating and all that.
Well, thank you very much. Your second place finisher tonight, Jonas Gunnarsson. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
And Tony, that would mean Oscar Fredriksson should be with you now.
Oscar Fredriksson, all things considered, can't be too disappointed with a podium finish here tonight at Martinsville, finishing actually where you started.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. If you told me yesterday that I would finish on the podium, I would be very excited for this race. So, yeah, happy with that.
It was definitely a race of attrition, that's for sure. But you kept your wits about you, as I mean, you were ducking and dodging most of this race to try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, long race, lots of cautions. Just trying to stay out of trouble. Haven't driven this track before, so didn't know what to expect really. I knew it would be a lot of yellows and a lot of crashes, more than likely. But was just trying to keep my nose clean all race.
Well, you kept it clean for the most part. A couple light contacts here and there. But we go to something completely different in 2 weeks. Is the next time we're going to be in the Cup cars is going to be at Phoenix International. Your thoughts going into the desert in 2 weeks?
I don't know what to expect really. I've driven that track in an IndyCar only. I've only driven this car in what I've done in this season in this league. So don't have any experience there. Don't really know what to expect. But I know it's quite a fun track in an IndyCar. So hopefully it's fun in this car too. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. But Oscar, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate the podium with your team?
Of course, everybody in the team for helping me practice and helping me get up to speed, and also the team's sponsors, Mabi Hyrbilar and Bara.
Oscar Fredriksson, congratulations one more time. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Phoenix.
Thank you. See ya.
And Frank, that officially puts another one in the books for us, my friend.
Yes, it would. 3 hours after we started, we have come to a conclusion here at Martinsville. And, you know, from what we heard going into this race, I don't think it was really any different from what we were expecting.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of expecting it to be a caution-heavy race, especially early on. But to answer the question of the poll that our fearless leader James Riles put in the YouTube side of things, exactly 14 cars finished on the lead lap.
Well, there you go. So if you pick the under on that, that would have been the way it went for you. And let's take a look at the rest of the finishing order here for tonight's race. Linus Broström taking his second win of the season, becomes the first driver on the series this season to win multiple races. Jonas Gunnarsson and Oscar Fredriksson rounding out the podium positions. You've heard from them. Michael Haflidason, Robert Eriksson, your top three. Jakob Larsson, Eric Blix, Pontus Nilsson, Anton Bradberg, and Marcus Stromberg coming home in the top 10. Marcus Stiller, Bat Ganbat, Eric Lundberg, Emily Fagrell, Martin Liesnik, Alexander Arildsson, Daniel Holmer, Tony Oivonen, Haflidi Johansson, and Connie Lundell rounding out the top half of the field here tonight.
Huck and Wet, Jesper Eriksson, Jonas Fors, Peter Helmbro, and Daniel Sollo rounding out your top 25. 26th through 30th goes to Christopher Giros, Andre Salander, Bjorn Broström, Dennis Scherp, and Dan Bloomquist, Philip Carlin, Jonas Larson, Anton Allman, Stefan Wong, Kenneth Tier rounding out your top 35, Jonas Skoglund, Robert Lundgren, and Martin Galakis, 36th through 38th. 39th going to Kim Nylom, and rounding out your field, Robert Earling in the 82.
And so that will do it for us here tonight from Martinsville Speedway. Next week, we'll be back in the GT3 cars, 3 races at Mount Fuji, unlike the 2 or the 1 that we've seen thus far this season. 3 races at Mount Fuji. The next time we see the Cup Series, it will be at Phoenix in 2 weeks' time. Again, we have 2 races more coming up tonight. That will be Fuel. Tony, if you could help me with where they are.
Give me 2 seconds.
That would be very, very helpful.
Yep, give me 2 seconds here.
Fuel tonight will...
I just have to pull that back up. They are going to be the children racing in the Cornfield 150 at Iowa.
So that will be there. That is a 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time start, and then Sim Racer's Edge will be an 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time start. They will be at Phoenix here tonight before a double dip tomorrow. So for my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. We will see you all next week in the GT3s from Mount Fuji. Good night, everybody.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.